These charges are very minor charges against these 15 people, and none of it can bring Sam back.
15 Washington State University fraternity members are being charged in the 2019 death of Sam Martinez. Tonight, Sam's parents speak about those charges.
Record-breaking heat today as temperatures soared into the 90s and triple digits across Washington. And we should have one more hot day for tomorrow before some relief on the way for the weekend.
Plus, we have covered the long-shot effort to split eastern Washington from its western half and create a 51st state. Now, several eastern Oregon counties are pushing to join Idaho. We'll tell you why it's extremely unlikely to happen. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Hello everyone, I'm Regina Ahn. Well, the Whitman County Prosecutor's Office is charging 15 people in the 2019 death of Sam Martinez. The people being charged were members of the fraternity at Washington State University at the time of the freshman's death.
The announcement comes months after the Pullman Police Department finished its investigation into Martinez's death. Our Ian Smay spoke with Martinez's parents earlier tonight about the charges.
Whitman County Prosecutor Dennis Tracy announced that he will be pressing charges of furnishing liquor to a minor to 15 people in relation to the death of Sam Martinez. This is the next step towards criminal penalties for those who may have been responsible for Martinez's death. But for his parents, it doesn't necessarily mean justice is being served.
It is not justice for us. We live every day with the loss of our Sam, and it's just unbearable. These charges are very minor charges against these 15 people, and none of it can bring Sam back.
Prosecutor Dennis Tracy decided to press charges against 15 people in the 2019 death of WSU freshman Sam Martinez. He was found dead of alcohol poisoning after an Alpha Tau Omega fraternity event. This is double the amount of people that charges were recommended against by the Pullman Police Department. Hazing charges weren't pressed after the statute of limitations ran out during the police department's investigation. A disappointment for Martinez's family.
Those would have been much more meaningful to us and much more equivalent to what the circumstances actually were that happened that night.
Pullman Police Chief Gary Jenkins told us earlier this year that the investigation took more than the 1-year statute of limitations for hazing for two main reasons: multiple interview subjects having left Pullman due to breaks from school, and problems accessing a cell phone to look for evidence. This has led Martinez's parents to call for changes to be made to Washington's hazing law.
Hazing should be considered as a felony, and there should be a bigger consequences on these.
Furnishing liquor to a minor, the charge the 15 people face, is a gross misdemeanor in Washington. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a $5,000 fine. Whitman County Prosecutor Dennis Tracy didn't want to talk on camera about the case, but he says he also doesn't feel like it's substantial justice for Martinez or his family, but it's what he can do. He also added that it's the highest number of charges arising from a single drinking event that he can recall since he started as the prosecutor, and that this could serve as a deterrent to binge drinking. A deterrent for actions that Hout says led to an avoidable death.
If just one person had stopped or said stop, if one person had called for help when Sam was in trouble, Sam would still be with us right now. And that's really hard for us to live with.
We should also note that the family did file a wrongful death lawsuit against the university and the fraternity. They say that has been put on pause due to the criminal case. The fraternity was suspended by its national organization and the university after Martinez's death. In the newsroom, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
New tonight, Washington Governor Jay Inslee is joining a handful of other states to incentivize getting vaccinated.
Yeah, so tomorrow the governor alongside the Washington State Lottery Director will announce what exactly those new incentives are. Ohio was actually the first state to introduce a $1 million jackpot alongside scholarships and other cash prizes for vaccinated people. Now, Oregon, Maryland, and New York have followed suit, and the incentives will be unveiled tomorrow at 2:30.
Spokane Public Schools has given the city permission to start surveying unused SPS land for a new water tower on the South Hill. Last week, the city proposed 3 locations that could possibly be used for that water tower. Those include 31st and Napa, 37th Avenue, and a 3rd location near Hamlet Elementary School. So there will be a survey of all those locations, including a public comment period. Also new tonight, work officially underway at one of Spokane's newest middle schools, named after an educator, civil rights activist, and local community leader.
So Denny Yasuhara Middle School is scheduled to officially open in the summer of 2022. KREM 2's Joshua Robinson has more on today's celebration of the man behind the name.
Wednesday's groundbreaking ceremony for Denny Yasuhara Middle School was just as much a new school's beginning as a celebration of Yasuhara's memory. The much-beloved Spokane teacher was also an advocate for his fellow Japanese Americans, and a legacy like his brings its fair share of esteemed guests.
What an awesome legacy to leave us. It's this idea that we all belong in Spokane.
I'd like to thank both Thelma and Denny Yasuhara for gracing us with your love and your support in our community for a very, very long time.
But of all those in attendance, it was Thelma Yasuhara, Denny's wife of 38 years, who was clearly the star of the groundbreaking event.
Very honored and excited and happy for my husband.
A longtime teacher herself, Thelma says she wishes she could have met more of her husband's former pupils before he passed away. Now, she imagines it'll be emotional to meet some of the new students at the middle school once it officially opens. And until then, she says she can only imagine the smile on Denny's face.
He was not a boastful man. I have a brother-in-law who was in East Los Angeles, and they have a school named for him. And so with my husband here, I can picture them and having high-fiving each other and slapping the back, and my husband saying, "How do you like them apples?"
Joshua Robinson, KREM 2 News.
I don't think people get cuter than Thelma right there.
I know, she's adorable,
Gosh,
right?
I want to meet you. Can we meet somehow? You're amazing.
She is, right?
Okay, we did see some record-breaking temperatures today, didn't we?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
You know, I liked it when I was inside. No, it was fantastic. It was great. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick in the Outdoor Weather Center. Thomas, I think we can officially say that it was wicked hot today.
It was wicked hot today. Even right now, it's still 79 degrees at 11 o'clock at night on the evening after we had these record-breaking temperatures. And it wasn't just Spokane. Almost everywhere in the inland Northwest saw record-breaking heat for today. But 94 in Spokane broke the old record of 92 degrees. And tomorrow's going to be close. The bar's set a little bit higher, but our temperatures actually go down by another degree or two. Still another hot day, but low 90s is where we're going to top out for tomorrow afternoon on what's going to be yet another sunny day. But it will be the final day of our heat wave. That's where our heat advisories go until Thursday evening. After that, our temperatures do start to ease back. In fact, we're going to go from the 90s from what we had yesterday, today, and for tomorrow to just this, 68 degrees. That's the high temperature for this upcoming Sunday. So a pretty drastic change in temperatures. It's going to be marked by some breezy conditions, and I'll show you just what that means in terms of our fire danger across eastern Washington. Those details in just a few minutes.
All right, Thomas, thank you. Well, the family of two black students at Sacagawea Middle School is asking the district to publicly apologize and remove a school administrator following a social studies lesson.
An ACLU lawyer now working with the family says a teacher passed around raw cotton and told students to clean it as part of a lesson on the Industrial Revolution. The ACLU lawyer told us the mother of the twin girls called the school to raise concerns about the lesson, and that's when the lawyer says the principal offered to remove the students from the class. He says the family was shocked at the suggestion to separate her daughters from class.
Slavery is not a game. This isn't a fun situation. It's not something that should be trivialized and handing out cotton and saying who can clean it the fastest. Like that's not what we want to teach.
Meantime, a spokesperson for Spokane Public Schools issued a brief statement saying in part the students were learning about the Industrial Revolution and the cotton gin, and the incident is now under investigation.
New body camera footage from the Grant County Sheriff's Office shows the first moments when crews arrived to the boat fire on Moses Lake. The TikTok video of the burning boat now has more than 9.5 million views. The Sheriff's Office says the people who had the pride flag have chosen not to press any charges. If they had, the Sheriff's Office said they would have cited the other boat with reckless operation of a boat, disorderly conduct, and malicious harassment.
The climber killed on Mount Hood on Sunday has been identified, and he is from Spokane. The climber was 64-year-old Michael Stretch, that's according to deputies. Stretch was reportedly descending Mount Hood with his adult son on the popular Old Chute route when deputies say he fell about 500 feet. Rescue crews responded, but when they reached Stretch, they say he'd already passed away.
Still ahead tonight, 7 Oregon counties have voted to become a part of Idaho. It's extremely unlikely to actually happen, but coming up, why supporters of the effort feel like their voices are not being heard.
Plus, later, the 90s are here to stay, at least until tomorrow. We'll keep you up to date on the forecast, including how to keep your pets safe in this hot weather. The news is back in just 90 seconds.